I gotta get with somebody and just I can't do this. I don't know what How's Mary Light treating you, man? Awesome. Say that in the section. Okay. You want me to jump?
It was sincere.
Okay. That's good. Now, is that camp on a live or is that camp on a liver?
We just talked about that.
That's smart. He goes, we'll see what's happening.
Everybody don't move and face this.
Church council meeting after first Sunday week today in the youth room.
Anybody else? If not, and all you see our prayer list, are there any others that need to be added to?
Shonda, my friend Shonda, has started chemo again. She finally got to where they could start chemo. She has to go once a week for 12 weeks, and then they'll do something else.
It's very
She starts
intense
a
chemo
different-
too.
Yeah, she starts a different kind then after that, so.
Very intense. She's asked for prayers on Facebook and stuff.
Anybody else?
Mom Mary's feeling under the weather.
Yes, she's got a severe UTI and is severely dehydrated. So, blood pressure's real low and no energy.
She at the house?
Moved in the hospital, but. On Wednesday night, we had discussed my brother Frankie, but he had his test on Friday, and I believe it was one polyp that they found. He goes back on Friday. So y'all just keep him in, y'all prayers as well.
Had my stepdad brother now, Brian Harris, got a phone call yesterday. Well, thought that he wound up not doing what the doctor said and everything. He had a virus. And we went back in the hospital and come to find out that was not the case. When they was starting his chemo and everything, they pulled the tape off before it, they pulled the skin off and it wound up, getting infected. And now he's about Alan Mercer. And he set it throughout his whole body, and they said they found lesions on his lung and his liver. So just remember him, because he's not doing good at all.
What's his name of the person?
Brian Harris.
Aaron's great uncle had an incident the other day too. Billy Scott, it's Aaron's grandmother's brother-in-law. He went under his house and scratched his leg, and I guess it got infected. Well, he went back up under there to pick something and it busted open, and I guess the infection went throughout his body, and he's in the hospital. And they had to do surgery, and he's not doing very good.
Marshall, what about the Oliver?
He has lost 4 ounces, but they, Melissa and Randy got to hold him this week. He's a guy that works with me. His grandson was supposed to be born in January, and he weighed a pound and 15 ounces, 13 and a half inches long. But she put a tennis ball right beside him. His head is really not that much bigger than a tennis ball. She said, you can just, she said it's just a miracle that he's alive, but they have, high hopes for him. They did get their hold him. They're just really not letting people, but that I guess you have to have so many hours, but, of touching, holding.
You have to do that skin to skin.
Yeah,
therapy.
Yeah. That bonding therapy or whatever, they want, to do, and said that they're very. Now, her husband, Randy, cannot go back there because he has asthma and is prone to have, so he can't hold it. He has to see him from a distance. But everybody seems to be doing better. They're accepting it, and they have high hopes for him. So y'all continue to pray for Oliver.
That's about like on Brian right now, that nobody can go in there to see him at all. So, anybody else? Anybody got praise this week?
Martin got all his family back home.
No, Mom. They can come visit, but they gotta go someplace.
We do. My Aunt Charlotte, my dad got a phone call this morning that she woke up, she opened her eyes, and she's responding to command. So hopefully they can take the tube out of her today.
Good. Anybody else? If not, you might Stephen, if you lift this up in prayer, please.
Father, we thank you for this day, and we do thank you for everything you bless us with, Lord. Thank you for this day where we're all here together to worship you and to learn about you and to fellowship with each other, Lord. And I just want to lift up those that are on the prayer list to you, Lord. You know exactly what they're going through and what their families are going through. And I just pray that your will is done in each and every situation, and that you provide a peace and a comfort to the families and all those and friends and everybody that's involved, Lord. And just I pray that through whatever trials are occurring, that people just strengthen their relationship with you and grow closer to you, Lord, as they go through it. And then you get the glory through everything, Lord. And that's all in Jesus' name. Amen.
Page 485, I'll stand.
Pastor Marty house upon us. We learned about the word, people Marty the recommendation, do the folks on the prayer list, and the folks that are traveling today, and do not be here, right there,
Bibles to the book of Genesis. We're going to go over something right quick before we get started this morning. Something Becky and I heard about this morning. And it kind of relates to what's going on this day and time. Good morning. Glad to have y'all here this morning. We're going to get right to it. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about today. And it's something I think all of us need to show an interest in. It's something I've encountered in my lifetime. And I want everybody to think about what's going on here. Genesis chapter 39. Genesis chapter 39. We're going to be talking about a man today. His name is Joseph. We're going to talk about him for a few minutes before we actually get into the message this morning. So if we're talking about Joseph, who wants to tell me a little bit about Joseph? Tell me a little bit about Joseph. Tell me something about Joseph. Tell me something about Joseph.
Which one?
The first one, in Genesis. I'm talking about Genesis Joseph. We ain't talking about Mary Joseph.
Sold into slavery.
Sold into slavery. Very good. What about it? Somebody else?
He rose up high and
You going to let anybody else answer? I'm joking with you. What would you say? What'd you say?
rose up high and
Grown up high in Egypt. That's right. What else?
He
Who
was the
else?
favorite son.
Huh? Hey, who?
He was the favorite son.
He was the favorite son. What about it? Who else?
He was falsely accused.
Falsely accused. Very good. Jimmy? Waiting on you, buddy.
second in command in Egypt.
Second command in Egypt. Very good. All right. We're going to talk about Joseph just for a quick minute before we actually get into the message this morning. We're going to talk about where we're at, who we're with when we're there, and who else is around. Just for a few minutes. Just for a few minutes. This has got nothing to do with today's message. This is just something to come up. We know what's been going on in the news. We know that the news is full of information on everybody's side that is made to do what? Discredit the one on the other side. Okay? It's not about finding the truth anymore. The truth is not what everybody's looking for. The truth is how to prove that someone else is not eligible to do something. And they do it by false accusations. Okay? So what's happened is you've got this movement, and what's beginning to happen and what we're beginning to see is we're beginning to see a breakdown in trust, a breakdown in honesty. It's getting to the point now where the world is, the United States is filled with Chicken Little syndrome. You got Chicken Little syndrome. We got people crying wolf. People crying wolf. Everybody, tell me, raise your hand if you don't know about the story about crying wolf. Raise your hand. Does everybody in here know what it means to cry wolf? Everybody does. Everybody does. Okay? All right, so everybody knows what it means to cry wolf. If you keep crying wolf and there's no wolf there, what's going to really happen when there is a wolf? Ain't nobody going to believe you. So that's where we got today. But what I'm trying to do is give you a little bit of advice on how to keep yourself out of a situation where a wolf can be cried or Chicken Little, the sky is falling can be hollered, okay? We're going to be talking about Joseph this morning for a few minutes. And what we want to do, we want to build up to this. Now, Joseph was, the Bible said Joseph was a good-looking man. My wife's sitting there nodding. My wife, I think, wished she could see Joseph. She said he was masculine. And my wife is around men of that stature quite a bit in her life.
Not at home. You're talking about the world.
I did have to take time last night before our man cave time to fix my recliner where something was broken. So I will have to admit that at this point. Moving on. Joseph was a good-looking man. Joseph was a handsome man, okay? He was a handsome man. And Joseph had been brought in, and Joseph was very well thought of. But there was one particular person that thought a little bit too much of Joseph, and that happened to be who? Who can tell me who that was? All right, the wife of who? Potiphar. Potiphar's wife. What did Potiphar's wife want? She didn't want to be friends with Joseph. She wanted to be intimate. She wanted to be intimate with Joseph. See, everybody thinks that women is the only ones that can be a victim of sexual assault. That's not true. That's not true. Just like the world would have you think that every woman that cries sexual assault is telling the truth. That's not true either. The world would have you think that every Ivy League person that's ever been a lawyer has been brought up with a silver spoon and all they've done was bad their whole entire life, and their parents have always gotten out of it. We talked about that this morning in Sunday school. That's not true. There's so many things about all this stuff that's been going on that's not true, but I'm going to give you a little bit of advice on what's going on right here. Actually, she had already confronted in verse 7, of chapter 39, says, and after a while his master's wife took notice of Joseph and said, come to bed with me. Come to bed with me. But he refused. With me in charge, he told him, my master does not concern himself with anything in the house. Everything his own he entrusted to my care. No one, just like Jimmy was saying, just like Rachel was saying, no one is greater in the house than I am. My master has withheld nothing from me except you. In other words, my name is Joseph, you're Potiphar's wife, I can have everything in the house but you. You are off limits. You are off limits. Okay? Because you are his wife. How then could I do such a wicked thing as to sin against God? Ah, good point. Good point. If Joseph had went to bed with Potiphar's wife, would he have been sinning against Potiphar? No. Who was he sinning against? He sinned against God. That's right. Remember that. Remember that. And though she spoke to Joseph day after day, he refused to go to bed with her or even be with her. Now, check this out. One day he went into the house to attend his duties, and none of the household servants was inside. She caught him by his cloak and said, come to bed with me. But he left his cloak in her hand and ran out of the house. When she saw that he had left his cloak in her hand and turned and ran out of the house, she called out to her household servants, look, she said to them, this Hebrew has been brought to us to make sport of us. He came here to sleep with me, but I screamed. When he heard me scream for help, he left his cloak beside me and ran out of the house. Was Joseph accused? Yes, he was. You know what put Joseph in this position? Joseph ended up in somebody's house with just him and the woman by themselves. By themselves. Now, we don't know if she had told the servants to leave, so when Joseph come in, they would be there by themselves. We don't know what the situation was. We don't even know if Joseph had time to leave the house when he realized they were by themselves. But I tell you this day and time, with all the movements, with all the attitude, with all the hate, with all the racism, with all of everything that's going on in this world, I'm giving advice right now to everybody in here from Mr. Bill's age all the way down to who's the youngest in here today? Lane, are you the youngest in here right now? All right. Well, you got 4 to go. Mr. Bill, right in front of you. The oldest to the youngest, right there. Well, guess what? Everybody else is encapsulated in this, okay? If you don't know what encapsulated means, ask somebody that does, okay? So, from Mr. Bill to Lane, everybody in here, let me give you some advice on in the past and what I've done in the past. One day, Kathy was at church in Lincoln. I was coming to And Allison called me, and she said, can I catch a ride with you to Lincoln? And what did I say, Allison? I said, no. I said, I can't do it. Love Allison to death. Can't love nobody no more. And I love Allison. I've been with Allison now, what, 8 years? Going on past 8 years. Just like Felicia, just like Kimberly. Just like the other girls in this church, going all the way back to Bailey and Carrie Ann and all them. Love every one of them to death. Just like I love the ones that's in here now. Love everybody. Love all the girls in here. Love all the boys. Love everybody. Okay? But here's the deal. What happens, not between me and Allison on the car ride, but what if one person a vendetta against either one of us sees us riding together on that road? Do you realize how quick something can be torn apart? Do you realize how quick just putting yourself in a position to be seen with somebody like that can tear you completely down? I'll never forget one time we was having a car wash uptown, and Cheyenne was up there, and we was up there, and me and Becky had just started coming to this church, just started coming, and I mean, of course I'm young, I'm not the way I should, and Cheyenne said something about getting pizza. I said, well, you want to ride me downtown and get a piece of pizza? She said, sure. We rode from where was that car wash at? In front of the bank?
Yep.
The bank. From the bank down up to the little pizza place. I mean, you can see the place basically from where we was at. But I mean, me and Cheyenne rode down there. We saw Ron and Tara in the restaurant. We sat down and eat. We went in to sit down and eat. Me and Cheyenne talked for a little bit. It was kind of a getting no, breaking the ice type thing with me and Cheyenne. And you know, when I got back, Becky said something to me. She said, where did you go? I said, well, me and Cheyenne rode down and got a piece of pizza. She said, you shouldn't have done that. I'm like, you know, wow, I shouldn't have. Was anything wrong with it? No. Did anything happen? No. But could somebody said something? Yes. That was my last time ever, since I've been to this church, being in a room or being with somebody in a car of the opposite sex. Period. Sunday school morning, one Sunday school morning, I go back here, I was teaching the class back here. The only person in the class that morning was Carrie Ann. We sat back down in that room together. She comes back down and sits down, and I looked at her like, well, we can get up and leave now. Because I'm not fixing to be sitting in the back of church with just me and Carrie Ann. You cannot do it. And this is supposed to be family. This is family. Do you realize how quick they can destroy you if it's outside getting in? How quick things can happen. So let me share with you something right now. Don't put yourself in the position to have things like this made up about you. Don't put yourself in a position that somebody can say something and somebody else believe it. Because that's what happens. What happened in this court trial. And you know, at the end of the day, nobody actually knows except them two people, the people that were around them and God. We know that. But the point of the matter is, the less you put yourself in a position for folks to talk about you, the less folks is going to talk about you. Remember that. Remember that. If Kimber were to call me up right now and say, hey, I'm in Thompson, broke down, and my husband is waiting passionately in me on the house, and he's home, and I ain't got no ride, and he can't come get me, can you take me to Augusta? No. Not going to do it. Call Kathy. Call Kathy. But you know what? I'm also not going to call Stephanie to come get me if I know that she's coming through Warrenton and I need to ride to Lincoln. I'm not going to do it. You can't put yourself in that kind of position. You cannot do it. People just say to yourself, well, it's just so-and-so, it's just such and such. No. 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 People, we can't trust ourselves, let alone other people. We cannot do it. We've got to remember that. I'm just telling you, I'm going by what the Bible says. Joseph was wrongfully accused. Wrongfully accused. Now, he ended up coming back. The cream always rises to the top. Anybody heard that? What is that? Felicia never heard that before? Cream never rises to the top? What's it mean? Tell me what it means, Billy.
It means the best is going to be the top.
The best is going to come to the top. Let me tell you something. When my Savior comes back to get us, who's going to rise to the top? The dead will first, and then we will. Okay? And God says the wicked will be separated. The chaff will be separated from the wheat. There will be a separation. The cream will rise to the top. Is it because we're better than anybody else? No, but it's because the one we believe in is. The one we have our faith in is. The one that we're built up to. Put yourself in position. That goes to work. How many men have an office? How many men that have an office? You got an office, you got an office. Ron, you got an office? Anybody else? I have an office. Never, ever do you let a woman that you work with come into your office and you shut the door behind her. That is a no-no. All right, how many in the office? Becky's got one. Got one? Is that all? What is that?
I mean, I have an office at work.
That's what I'm talking about. Work. I'm talking.
What is her office? Yeah,
but Allison, you are in one of the most easily influenced places there is. Multiracial, multi-religion, men and women together, young. You're in a perfect example. You're in a perfect place for something to go terribly wrong. Terribly wrong. You have to be so careful. So careful. Kimber's got when she gets through her schooling and everything's taken care of, you're gonna have to be in business situations. Business situations. It doesn't mean you got to be in an office with a man with a closed door. It doesn't mean that. I'm just giving y'all advice.
I'm never around anywhere now, nothing but me.
That's right. But when you walk in Becky's office, you're in the whole entire office, and the office is right there and everything's in the open. But my wife don't work with any women.
Half-time front door open.
And half-time front door open. Look, I'm not trying to meddle in your business, and I'm not trying to tell you how to live your lives. But I am telling you this world is more and more reaching for something that it can call a movement, or trying more and more to make something happen that is going along with a certain belief. We've got a lot of movements now, and there's going to be a lot of people that's going to be blamed. We talked about it the other night, just like Mr. Bill said. I said, what do you call these things when people's hunting for somebody and there ain't nobody there to be found? It's called a witch hunt. It's called a witch hunt. And if we're not careful, we're going to get caught up in a witch hunt one of these days. And somebody's going to be accused of something they had nothing to do with. I'm telling you, make the chances less to give somebody an opportunity to get you hung up into something. It happens all the time. Okay, so we got a wonderful name for this day's message. Camper or liver. And I've had more than one person. I'm going to have to keep coming up with names like this, because right now I've got more people asking me about the name of this morning's message than I've ever had before. Like everybody, they never read anything about the message. And this morning, like, what are you talking about liver? How did camper go with liver? Answer me a question. How many of y'all have a camper? Raise your hand. You got a lot of people that have campers. Wow, that's good. That means if my wife ever kicks me, person,
You get kicked out, you go.
huh?
He's scared we had one.
Oh, yeah.
You ain't coming to your neighbors.
How many? Oh, how thin of ice do we want? How many in here has got a tent? You have a tent?
Oh, I thought you was moving the camera.
When is the last time you used your tent? 10 years ago. Is that the last time you put your tent up? No? Okay. I'm just curious. Didn't see that one coming. Tents. Who all else got tents? You got tents? Okay, so a lot of you, the same ones got campers, got tents. Okay? I'm fixing to ask the congregation, and remember you all being video streamed live, so there's a lot of people in this world can see you right now if they choose to look. I want you to give me one word definition. You can only say one word. One word. You can only say one word. If I ask you something about a camper, a tent, or a campsite, give me one word. Give me a one-word definition of that.
Camper.
Who?
Shelter.
Shelter. Okay, shelter. Uncomfortable. Uncomfortable.
Temporary.
That's the one I'm looking for. That's the one I'm looking for right now. Temporary. Temporary.
I thought it said sanctuary.
Somebody gonna have to sign up for children's duty every Sunday. Turn with me if you will to the song. Temporary. That's exactly To the T is what I'm looking for. But why is it temporary? What's so temporary about it?
You set it up, you live there for a while, you tear it down, you move on.
Tear it down, you move on. That's exactly right. Me and Becky, I don't know if y'all watch, me and Becky watch a lot of the Alaska shows, the Last Alaskans, the Last Frontier I'm not real crazy about. And the ones that cuss every other breath, I don't watch them. You know, I don't want to turn the TV on and hear beep, 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 beep. You know, I don't want to hear all that. So we got the Life Below Zero and the Last Alaskans. That's pretty much the ones that we watch. My wife, for whatever reason, I don't know why, watches, what is that thing?
The bush people.
That's just awful. But anyhow, well, a lot of these people live somewhat of a nomadic life. As a matter of fact, one of the families actually has one of the Inuit-type tents that they go and stay in some part of the year. And what they do is they move kind of with the climate. They kind of move around the climate. A lot of these people, if you see them on TV, it shows them living in a little, beautiful little cabins. It's just stuck up in the middle of these spruce pines. It shows them living there. Well, that might be one of 4 cabins that they have. And for the certain times of the year that they can go and trap or hunt or fish or whatever, they pack up everything they got with the dogs and snowmobiles and all that stuff, and they go and they move to this other cabin. And they're always moving. They move all year long. They live in the same place. So it's like they live a life of camping, well, if you want to say it like that. But I want to read something to you. This is a verse. We're going to be talking about one verse today. We've got that we're going to talk about probably tonight on this, but this one verse I want to talk to you today about. It says this. In chapter 15 of the book of Psalms, it says, a Psalm of David. Lord, who may dwell in your sacred tent? Who may live on your holy? And this is David asking God this question. And David's asking God this question for a reason. He's asking, he's wanting to know. And not only does David ask this question, he's asking 2 questions at one time. And the ESV version, and I want to get some other versions in here as well, but the NIV says, Lord, who may dwell in your sacred tent? Who may live on your holy mountain? In the ESV version, it says this. It says, Psalm of David, O Lord, who shall sojourn in your tent? Who shall dwell on your holy hill? What we got in NLT? Who may in NLT? What you got?
Who may worship in your sanctuary, Lord? Who may enter your presence on your holy hill?
Who may worship your sanctuary? What you got, Becky?
Lord, who may dwell in your sanctuary?
Okay.
Who may live in your holy hill?
Okay, Stephanie, what you got?
Same thing as Bucks.
Same thing as Bucks. Anybody got anything different? New King James. What you got, Allison?
I have King James.
Okay, King James or New King James?
I have King James.
King James, okay, do King James.
Lord, who shall abide in thy tabernacle, who shall dwell in thy holy hill?
Okay, what you got, Lacey?
Same thing.
Same thing. So we're hearing 3 different things. We're hearing tabernacle, we're hearing what, sanctuary, and we're hearing tent. Okay? The 2 main ones I'm going to focus on is tabernacle and tent. In the Hebrew times, tabernacle was another word for what we call tent today. Okay? Now, the tabernacle may have been more like a camper. Could have been. It don't mean it was a box with wheels on it. That's what I'm not talking about. But it could have been a little more permanent than what a tent is. We all know that a camper should be a little bit more permanent than what a tent is. But it says, O Lord, who shall sojourn in your tent in the ESV? I want to use the ESV this morning because I want to ask you a question. What this word sojourn means. Sojourn, it means to abide in a place as a sojourner or a stranger. A stranger. When y'all go to the lake and camp out, even though y'all know the lake, and even though y'all have been on the lake and around the lake y'all whole entire lives pretty much, you still are not a permanent resident of the lake. You're not. You're not a permanent resident. You go there for a short period of time, a temporary point in time. But the reason we know that this first half of this question in chapter 15 is talking about something that is actually temporary is because everyone or a word that the word tent was derived from. So it's all about something that is temporary. Lord, who may dwell in your sacred tent. Okay? The King James uses the word tabernacle. Same thing. What is David asking? What is he trying to get to? What is he trying to build up to? Why is he asking about something that is temporary? Well, I want to ask you right now, who are you right now? As far as God is concerned, as far as your life right now on earth, who are you? Because you may say to yourself, well, it doesn't matter who I am now, because one of these days I'm going to be with him. Well, that's true in a certain sense. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about who are you now, and who will you be from now to the time you take your last breath, which is this temporary time. Who will you be for God during this temporary time? Who will you be? Who will God allow? Who will you allow God to make out of you? That's a good way to ask it. Who will you allow God to make out of you? We know that Stephen, and I'm going to pick on Stephen, but not a picking way, I'm actually commending him for it. You have allowed God to take you from who you were in school and make you a Sunday school teacher. Okay? You have allowed God to take you from being a Sunday school teacher to make you an actual licensed minister of the gospel. You have allowed, now don't get that smile, don't do things. You just ruined the whole thing. He can't hit it. He just, I say minister of the gospel and it went from ear to ear right. You have allowed God to do that to you. You're still allowing Satan to give you pride, but that's okay. We'll work on that more. But you've allowed that to happen, okay? My wife, I'm going to tell y'all about my wife. Let me tell y'all what my wife went through when we come to Loco. My wife did not want to come to Loco Baptist Church. Period. She had no interest whatsoever in coming into Loco Baptist Church. You know why? You know why? Because her permanent church was Camet Baptist. That was her church. That's where she was born. I think she was born on one of the pews. You know, that's just kind of the way it happens at Camet. You know, at Camet, you're born on one of the pews, and when you get to the age where you can sit up on your own, you sit up there, and that's where you sit. It's kind of the way it is. Everybody not only knows who everybody is, but they pretty much either can or have lived with one another at some point in time. But here's the deal. Becky had no interest in Local Baptist Church. Why? Because just like having a tent, you go and you become a stranger somewhere, and everybody ain't on board with that. Everybody don't like being a stranger somewhere. Well, my wife knew coming into this, she was going to be a stranger. She was going to be in a different land. She was going to be in a different land. She didn't know one day that she would know Allison. She didn't know one day that she would know Glenna. She didn't know one day that she would know Felicia. She didn't know one day that she would know Ron. She didn't know one day that she would know Racy. She didn't know then the friends that she knows now. So I can tell you that I felt bad for my wife because this really affected her. And I know other women right now that have pastors for husbands that are never comfortable with where they're at. And there's a huge divorce rate with pastors and their wives. But Becky allowed God to make her into what she is now, which in a lot of cases, a lot more of an asset to Local Baptist Church than I even am. Because she's helped just as many people, if not more, at this church than I ever will. Not in the front, not behind the pulpit, but behind the scenes. You have no idea. And I'm not doing this to build my wife up. It's got nothing to do with my wife. It's got all to do with God and His glory. Okay? But you have no idea the people that my wife has talked to in this church. She allowed God to make her into who she is now. That's what it's all about. God wants to do His plan in us. God wants to have His purpose fulfilled in us. Bill Mullins did not want to be a deacon. Bill Mullins did not want to be chairman of the deacons. Bill Mullins did not want to deal with what he had to deal with, 15, 16 years ago at this church? He didn't want to deal with it. But he allowed God to put him in that position, and he allowed God to use him in that position. It's what we allow God to do with us. So I'm asking you now, for the rest of the time that you have on this earth, this temporary time, what are you going to allow God to do with you? Or from this very day until the day that you take your last breath, or the day that my Savior comes back, will you still be sitting? Will you still be soaking? Will you still be souring? in the same pew that you are right now, with no growth, no strength, no peace, no joy, just sitting. Do you realize how many people in church are doing that right now? That are the exact same person now that they were 50 years ago. And it's a little crazy for me in a lot of ways because, I don't know, I mean, but when you started at GIW, what was your job title?
I was furnace helper.
A furnace helper. A furnace helper. Okay? Guess what? A furnace is not a pleasant thing to work around. Alright? It's hot. It's dangerous. There's a lot of up and down steps. There's a lot of dirt. You're going to come home nasty. You're going to cough stuff up. It's the whole 9 yards. He was a furnace helper. Probably one of the lower jobs in the plant. One of the only lower jobs I can think of like that, there used to be a guy in Thompson, and his job was to swing a 12-pound sledgehammer, busting sand out of molds. Would be less than what Buck is now.
I had to help him.
You had to help him. Okay, well it's bad when you helping the guy that's got the worst job in the plant.
When they took sand to the landfill like that, we had to put stuff in the truck.
There you go, there you go. So not only is he doing the lowest job, he's helping the guys doing the lowest job. Are you that same person that George works now? Why in the world don't we want to proceed and progress for God the way we do on our own jobs? I know Ron's got more equipment now than he did when he got started. He probably got more people on the road. How many technicians did you have on the road when you first got started? Did you have a technician? Just you? You see J trucks up down the road all the time. I mean, if you go through Camat, you're going to see a Johnson equipment truck or one of them C&H dump trucks. You're going to see them all the time. Y'all know what I'm talking about. See trucks all the time. Why don't we have that same attitude toward God? And I'm not calling out you, I'm not calling out you, I'm not mean, I'm just using y'all as an example. Why don't we have that same attitude toward growing for God? Why not? Don't you realize that there's more to be had with God than we will ever have on a job site? Don't you know that blessings from God can trump anything that we will ever own on this earth? Do you not realize what God is wanting so badly to give us in the way of blessings if we will just be what He wants us to be? Just do what He wants us to do. Just talk the way He wants us to talk. Just act the way He wants us to act. Just walk the way He wants us to walk. Don't you realize that God is just waiting to give it to us? But we're not willing to make the move and be who He wants us to be. Tabernacle or tent means temporary. We have to remember the times. We have to remember what's being said, who's being said to. We talk about it all the time. Who is the audience? Who is the audience at this moment? Well, this is a long time ago, folks. This is 5,000, 6,000 years ago. This is the Hebrews we're talking about. And it's David talking. So what he's saying now is, Lord, who may dwell in your sacred tent? Who may dwell in your sacred tent? Okay, so let me ask you this. If Buck says he's got a camper and we got other folks that says that they have tents, we got other folks that says they got campers, we got all this stuff. If you were to call that your temporary residence while you were camping, what would you call your house? Permanent. That's exactly right. Well, guess what? God calls your house temporary. God calls your house temporary. Nobody in this church knows more about their own house probably than Mr. Bill. I know Ron knows a lot about his. You was kind of like general contractor in your house, right? Okay, you general contractor. But I imagine Mr. Bill is a little bit more intimate with his own house than probably you were yours. Because I imagine Mr. Bill probably done the most work to his own house and the building of his own house than anybody else in here did. And if you did more, Mr. Bill, I'm not taking away from you. I'm just saying Mr. Bill. Nobody knows more about their own house and how it was made, nail by nail, board by board, cut by cut, than Bill Mullins does. But at that, as much as he knows about his own house, God looks at it as a temporary dwelling. I don't care how well he built it. You can look at the craftsman. Basically, look at the craftsmanship. How many times has Racy told me about what Bill Mullins, how many times he cut some of these boards? I think that board right there was cut like 52 times. For it to be put in right. The craftsmanship is there. Okay, and I guarantee he put the same craftsmanship in his own house. But God still, even at Bill Mullins' best, he sees his house is temporary. It's temporary. Doesn't matter who you are or what you live in, your dwelling place is temporary. It will not last. David is asking God, who may dwell in your sacred tent? Who shall sojourn in your tent? Who shall dwell in your holy hill? If we go to the next, one, we'll start seeing something different. I'm fixing to get that in just a minute. But I want to ask you some questions. I'm going to ask you a series of questions. And it's such a blessing. This past week has been such a blessing for me. But in one of the commentaries I was reading, it read out some questions that we need to ask ourselves of past tense during the time that the Bible was written. And then it asks us some questions of of present tense, which is right now. I want you to listen very carefully. Who shall dwell in your holy hill? This is another way of David asking this. Who is qualified to dwell with God? I think a chance for a question. We can ask ourselves that. Who may be regarded as his friend? Who may be regarded as God's friend? Who has title to God's favor? In other words, do you know that God favors you? Not because you're anything more than anybody else, but do you have God's favor? Do you have God's grace? Do you have God's blessings? Do you have God's mercy? Who is truly pious? Now, that's a good one. Who wants to jump on that? Let me see a raise of hands of who wants to tell me what the word pious. No, because when them eyebrows going up, I wouldn't dare call on you right now for nothing in the world. There's no way I'm going to do it. I would not ask you the word, I'm not going to ask you what the word pious means. When you tell me what the word piety means. That's what I think. That's where we're going with. Somebody tell me what the word pious means. Somebody. All right, Becky, help me.
Above?
Above? No. No. Pious or piety is living a life of deep, deep religion. Deep, deep dedication. No, that wouldn't have been what you said. What did she say?
Caitlin said it sounds like food.
So how many slices does a piety have?
God-fearing.
It's a life of God-fearing. It's a life of humbleness. It's a life of dedication to worship, dedication to His Word, dedication to doctrine, dedication to understanding who God wants us to be. It's a sense living like a monk. That is like the ultimate form of piety. Now, other than me and Buck and George, I don't know of anybody else right in here today that would look the part. Well, you would. You look the part. But other than us four, nobody else really looks the part. We're working on Stephen. If we can ever get Stephen bald-headed, we're going to be doing good.
Thank you.
But dedication. Jimmy would not make it as a monk. That ain't going to happen.
Not going to do it.
No, it's not going to happen. No. But here's the deal. Pious or piety means a life dedicated to God. Okay? In a serious, serious way. A serious, serious way. Okay? So the question was, who is truly pious? Who is just showing on the outside what God wants to see when being somebody else on the inside? See, these questions are asking about who is actually qualified to be with God when eternity starts. Now, if we were to change these to questions for today, this is something I want to share with y'all. This is something I talked with someone this past week, and it's just been a blessing. If we were to take these questions that David had and apply them to today, one of the first questions would be, who is qualified to be a member of a church? Wow. Wow. Who is qualified to be a member of the church? Now, those of you that have been in bigger churches, smaller churches, different churches, I don't know how they've done things, okay? Remember, this is my first. I've only ever been to Camet, and this is my first. But I know one thing. Each and every member of a church should be a born-again, God-fearing, saved person. Period. If you're not You do not need to be a member of a church. And what I'm saying by that is there needs to be a criteria that is met in order for you to be a member. It doesn't mean you can't come to church. It doesn't mean that whatsoever. If Allison was not saved and she was coming to this church, she would be just as welcomed in this door to sit in these pews as anybody else would. But when it time to come time for there to be decisions made about church business, decisions made about doctrine, decisions about what's going to be taught, decisions about what's going to be used, the type of material we're going to put out to the kids, everything like that, she has no vote. Because she's not a dedicated believer. And I know that Allison is, so she does get that vote. But my question is, who is qualified to be a member of a church? Let me tell you about a little conversation I had this past week. Y'all know Mr. Ira's been coming. Love Mr. Ira to death. Mr. Ira tickles me. Mr. Ira's a trip. But you know what? Mr. Ira's getting some age on him. How old is Mr. Ira? Does anybody know? Mr. Bill, you know how old Mr. Ira is?
I'm saying, yeah.
77, 78, something like that. And Mr. Ira's health is not the best. He's fixing to have some hernia operations, and he's had a lot of operations and stuff like that. So y'all know me. Y'all know I'm a realist. Y'all know I see a person for who the person is, and I see a person for the condition that they are. I see it, and I realize that. So Mr. Ira comes walking in Wednesday night. He comes walking up and gets ready to lay his Bible right down in that pew in front of Mr. Bill. And I said, Mr. Ira, come on and walk with me. And he walked with me, and I had to go real slow because he walked and he come through and he went right back down to the Sunday school class that we have. And I walked back there with him. I said, Mr. Ira, I need to talk to you about something. He said, what's that? I said, Mr. Ira, I said, chances are, I said, we don't know what tomorrow may bring. I said, but chances are, if you're still here with us when you pass, I may be doing your funeral. He said, you're right. He said, you got that exactly right. I said, Mr. Ira, I may not make it home tonight. You may be in mine. I said, but I may, more than likely, do your funeral. He says, you're right. I said, I need to know a little bit about you. I said, out of respect for me, you need to tell me who you are. He said, you're exactly right. I said, do you know you're going to heaven when you die? He said, absolutely. And through a series of questions after that, we come to a general understanding that Mr. Ira got saved years ago, but has not grown a bit since then. And what he's wanting to do right now so desperately is grow in the Lord. And it is a blessing to know that somebody that's 77, 78 years old still has the desire to become more one with Christ. But what it does and what it did was it means that if something happens to Mr. Ira, and I do, for whatever reason, do his funeral, imagine how much easier that's going to be on me to be able to praise the Lord and the fact that he was going to be home with him. If you're going to be a member of a church, you need to make dadgum sure that the pastor of that church knows that you know Jesus. Because not only does it give that pastor the opportunity to be at peace at your funeral, not have to worry about where you're going, but use you as an example to the people that may be sitting there in that congregation that does not know him. Because guess what? Everybody that goes to funerals are not saved. Okay? They're not. Are they, Bob? No. No. I've had one come to 2 different funerals at this place right now, John, go out there and say, and actually not cuss at me, but cuss around the graveyard. I'm like, man, what are you talking? What are you doing? He's cussing out at the graveyard. We just got through walking from inside the church at the funeral. He walked back to the preacher that just done the thing was cussing. I'm like, wow, this guy really missed the point. He heard nothing I just said. Have you met the criteria it takes to be a member of a church? I'll tell you this, just like I told Mr. Ira. I said, Mr. Ira, if you come down one Sunday before me and you had this conversation, you said you wanted to be a member of this church, I said, that's all well and good, but I'm not going to present you to the church until me and you've had this conversation and I know that you're saved. And I know without a shadow of doubt that some churches that let somebody come walking down, say they want to be a member, and before they even get through with the prayer, they done voted them in. And that's wrong. That's wrong. Do you meet the criteria it takes to be a member of the church? Do you have evidence of a true conversion in your life? Can you tell me who you were? Can you tell me who you are now? Who in this church has real piety? Piety, just another form of being pious. the second part of the verse. It says, Lord, who may dwell in your sacred tent. And then in the NIV it says, who may live on your holy mountain. You know what? That's not talking about being here no more, folks. That's not talking about being here no more. But what does yours say? What's the second part of that verse say?
I'm going somewhere else now. You done messed me up.
I ain't messed you up. You shut your mouth. You were begging. What's yours say?
He who walks in blameless, and he
No,
who,
the second part of the first verse.
oh, the second part,
Yeah.
who may live on your holy hill.
Oh, who may live in your holy hill. What's yours say, Rachel? Same thing? Anybody anything different? Tell me what you got.
Who may enter your presence on your holy hill?
All right, who may enter your presence? Wow! We know what it is to have the Holy Spirit inside us, but we don't know what it's like to be in the presence of the Lord yet. How about that? Who may enter into your holy presence? That's the same thing else says. Okay. You know what the last question is? Who in this church is truly prepared for heaven? Who in this church is truly prepared? Do you know in your heart right now, if you get killed on the way home, that you're going to be with your Savior? Do you know that it's something that is true in your life? And you know that it's something that somebody were to walk up to you and say, hey, I'm fixing to go to a church. Can you tell me a little bit about what church is? Because I'm fixing to go and become a member. And the first thing you need to ask them is, hey, if you're going to heaven when you die, well, I don't know, but I just want to be a member of the church. Do you see a problem with that?
Yeah.
If you don't see a problem with that, then you need to check yourself. You need to check yourself. But right now, are you ready to go to heaven? Are you ready for your final moment? Are you ready for your final breath? Are you dedicated to Christ to the point where you know you can call on Him to be your personal Savior? Have you dedicated your life to Him? Have you been born again? Are you forgiven? Do you understand the need to be forgiven? That's what it's about. Do you understand the separation that was between you and God before Christ come to this earth? Died a cruel death, died and went in a tomb to be there for 3 days, only to rise again and to defeat death. So you can call on Him as Savior. Do you understand that? Do you believe in that? Because if you do not, you are not saved. And you can sit here and you can even believe in it, but unless you call on Him to forgive you of your sins, you do not have the eternal kingdom. You will not be with God in His presence. Do you have that type of peace in you today to know what's going to happen to you when you leave this world? Let's pray. Father, we come to you now. Thank you for this time. Father, I thank you for what has happened this week. I thank you for what we've learned in Sunday school class this morning. I thank you for the message today. I thank you for the prayers that have been lifted up for these people that are on my prayer list. Father, in all things, your word says in all things to give thanks to you. And that's what I'm doing now, Lord. The good along with the bad, as long as we got you, we can give thanks. When the flood waters are here, we can give thanks. When the tornadoes come through, we can give thanks. When the hurricanes hit us, we can give thanks. Because we know that, Father, this is our temporary home. We know that regardless of what happens to us, we will not be here when the end comes. For those of us that know you, we will be with you in your presence. Thank you for the one day that I will go home with. And Father, I pray for conviction, and I pray for a heart of burden on the ones that do not know you, that they may look at themselves, try to answer these questions we talked about this morning, and understand if they are in fact going or are they just coming to church. And Father, there's nothing more to be said other than thank you for who you are, thank you for who your Son is, and thank you for what your Son has done for us. And we ask all these things in and through His precious name. Amen.
Page 300.
Thank you.
go out and just flutter around inside the church, and then when everybody walks out, it just kind of dies. I hope that message has feet, and I pray that it goes with you, and I pray that it stays in your heart, and I pray that you deal with it this week, and you do not let these questions go unanswered, because an unanswered question is the same as saying no. It's still a choice. When you choose not to answer a question, you've made a choice. You have an answer. And it may not be the answer that you need or what God wants you to have. So I thank you for being here today. And need somebody to go ahead and close and bless the food. Joel, will you please close and bless the food, please, sir?
Heavenly Father, truly thank for the word that Marty brought for us to study on, Lord. Lord, please help us to be out and spread the word. Please, as we go through the back, take the food and nourish our body, Christ, I pray. Amen.